All right, State of the Union address here today for Launch My Agency members. All right, so today we're going to be sharing a couple things that's been happening in the industry. We've always been at the forefront of this, and we're going to bring some of the juicy little details to you guys. And towards the end, I'm going to explain a little bit of an opportunity that we're going to have for you guys. And this is very specific only and only to our private Facebook group members. All right. This is only here. As you guys can see, it's not anywhere else. So keep your eyes peeled out over the next few days for some of the announcements that we're going to be making. And just for some preface, over the past few years, 2, 3 years, we have absolutely reinvented how digital marketing agencies are done. All right. So we're going to bring some of those findings and some of the things that we've learned of what it takes to build an agency up from scratch, completely from zero, or that's one of the things that we build. Number two is, if you already have an agency, how can you actually take that from 10K a month to say 30K to 50K, 100, or even 500K plus? We have clients coming in from all sorts of different backgrounds. Some of the people who just want to kind of step into the agency world, and some of the people who already have massive agencies, and we help consult them, right? So we've seen so many different things over the past few years, and we wanted to bring this opportunity over to you guys and basically have us take the arrows for you. All right. So right before I get into some of the things that we're going to talk a little bit about today, I'd love for this group to be a little engaged, right? So I'd love for you guys to tell me a little bit about where you guys are coming in from. Right. Personally, I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know if you can see. It's very nice and sunny out. But I'd love to know where you guys are calling in from, where you guys are here. And let's make this somewhat engaging, right? And also, I'll be an open book here. So any questions that you guys may have about anything about agency related, digital marketing, or even our program, exactly what we have going on, I'm happy to answer that, right? There's a big, kind of like a trust issue in the marketplace, and people don't really address that. So here we are, there isn't anything that we cannot answer for you. All right. Kenneth says Memphis, Tennessee. Kenneth is actually one of our clients. So he's one of our CEO clients that we've been doing some work for. Mohammed, San Diego. Hassan is in Dubai. Wow. All over the world, huh? Amazing. All right. Love it. Cool. So yeah, just if you guys are tuning in live, go ahead and type one down below and give us some likes and loves. Really helps with the engagement here. Would love for you guys to kind of engage there. All right. So what exactly are we doing, and why did we even start this, right? So one of the most important mission statements that we've had for our for Launch My Agency is that we wanted to create a platform, a program, essentially for ourselves, right? We did it selfishly because we didn't have some of these skill sets. We didn't have some of the know-how of when we first got started, right? Online, there was so many different, so many different blogs, so many different articles, podcasts, speakers, there's all sorts of different things happening in the online world. And it's very difficult to to understand, what do I follow that's going to give me the maximum result, right? We look in the world today, most people have jobs, right? Most people are paying bills. They're just like in this monotonous, I mean, they call it the rat race, right? And it's very, very true. It really exists. So if you're out here trying to learn, trying to get into something, and you don't even know really where to start, and if you start, you do it for a few days, the next day you see something completely opposite. And now you just start questioning yourself, like, what is it that I need that's going to work for me right now? Right. So we launched my agency for very selfish reasons for ourselves, right? This is what we needed. We wish we had something like this. We wish someone had something like this in one platform, in one specific box, essentially, and say, hey, look, this is exactly the 10% that you need to get the 90%. So that's the main vision. That's the vision that we've had to actually start Launch My Agency, right? So as you guys will see, I made a quick announcement last week as well, where we're going to put a lot of our free stuff out for you guys to consume, right? So we want you guys to start having results in advance. However, this coming week, this is going to be a week for people who want to work with us. All right. So for the past few months, some of you guys have been watching our content. Some of you guys have been kind of like lurking in the background, right? Kind of like seeing, are these guys legit? Are these guys good? This is the time. This is an opportunity, right? And as you'll see in this group, we never really sell. Like we don't ever try to work with you guys. So this is an opportunity. Last time we did it was, I don't know how many months ago, like last year sometime, right? So we can only help so many people, right? With again the 10% that's going to move the 90%. So that's essentially the theme of this week. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for this week. All right. And like I said, any questions, just go ahead and type it in for me here. All right. All right, someone's asking like what experience do you guys have and what's our story? So the experience that we've had is we've worked with we started from pretty much nothing, right? So we used to literally go door to door. I remember trying to work with clients. Like I went to my eye optometrist, we went to a restaurant, we tried to land them on as clients. By the way, it never worked. But we started by like really hustling, right? Like from cold calling hundreds of people a day. I remember we used to cold DM people on Instagram, right? All these restaurants, only to cold DM like 50, 60 of them to get like 2 responses. And both of those responses would be like, hey, we're not interested, or we already have someone, right? So we did everything that you may be looking at doing right now, right? It wasn't until we actually like turned on ads, right? So most of you guys who are in here who know of us is because you guys saw an ad, of ours, right? You guys saw a Facebook ad, you clicked it, you joined our free group, and here you are, right? So this is one of the biggest pieces for us when we first started of what kind of got us successful, right? So Facebook ads was very, very important. So from there, we started landing, smaller clients like e-commerce clients, and then we went into like the mid-tier type of e-com clients. So clients who are making 50 million plus a year. We work with Hello Abound. We work with Makeup Eraser. So these are some of the, some of our bigger e-com clients. So we learned so much about business, about, digital marketing in general, on how to actually, take brands and take companies from zero, or from maybe like, a certain amount to really blow them up, right? So we got that skill set that we worked really hard for. And then we started implementing that skill set into other businesses, right? So Porsche ended up hiring us because, they saw some of the success that we had. So we worked with Porsche. From there, we launched a platform where we started helping other digital marketing agencies, right? Just like maybe yourself, if you're looking to launch one, we started helping people like that. So to date, we've worked with over 300 different people in right now it's about 53 different niches, right? So it's e-commerce, lawyers, chiropractors, real estate, salons, like you name it. There's all sorts of companies, there's all sorts of niches and sorts of industries that we work with. So we have like all this data and all this information kind of locked up into our stockpile, right? So we know exactly what's going to work, what's not going to work, and we're able to take some of that information and give it to our clients, right? So when our clients come on, they're mainly just paying us for the data that we have, right? What's going to work right away for me in the next 3 months? What can I do, right? So that's essentially a little bit about our story, our background. All right, let's see, any other questions? Raza asked, what do you guys do for your clients now? What do you mean by that? Okay, so I mean, there's the way I can probably best answer that question is we take our clients mainly from zero, or from people who are just like getting started off, to have them have an agency that is making at least $10,000 a month within the next 3 months. All right, so that's the biggest lever that we pull. And to make $10,000 a month with a digital marketing agency versus a job is completely different. All right, it's completely different. If you make 10K with an agency, that means that you can easily make 100K, right? But the challenge is to go from 0 to 10. That's the hardest part. All right. So the worst thing that we can think of is think that having like making from 10K to 100 is going to take 10 times work. Absolutely not. It does not work like that whatsoever, right? It's going to be a lot easier. But again, it really boils down to how can we get to that first 10K? That's all that really matters. All right. So once that's the biggest lever that we pull. That's what Launch My Agency pretty much does, is to go from 0 to 10 for most people. However, there are some people that we work with, some higher level clients, like I said, who are already making 30K, 50K, few $100,000 a month, who really want to get to that next level, right? They want to get to, a million a month or whatever. So we're able to come in and help them plug sales teams. We help them with their marketing. We help them with their setting. We help them with their fulfillment. So like it's all the business operations we kind of help with. But yeah, to answer your question, that is pretty much the main thing that we do. All right. Any other questions? I'll go ahead and give it a couple more seconds for any more questions, and we'll go from there. Clem says awesome. Clem is also another one of our clients. So we have a couple clients here. So which is amazing, amazing to have. By the way, Clem, or I think Kenneth was also here. If you guys don't mind sharing a little bit of like how have things been, your honest feedback, about working with us, about working with our one-on-one team. Again, one of the biggest pieces that I always see is people don't really they're very scared, they're very afraid to kind of make that decision for them, which is completely fair and fine, but they don't understand that how big of a program or how big of a platform we actually have on the back end, right? Custom one-on-one support, all that stuff. Again, I'm not going to go super deep into that just yet, but there's, you guys can learn a little bit from our clients and, see how they're being treated. Mohammed asks, when are you dropping more information? Yeah, so over the next few days, you're going to see. Tomorrow we're going to have I'm going to make a post, and also I'm going to put it on an email. I believe I'm also going to send it to our SMS list. So if you have SMS from us, you'll see, and you'll get an opportunity to be one of the first few people, to potentially work with us. Again, this is a partnership. This is not a course. This is not one of those anything that you've probably ever seen before. And we've made it very intentionally based on that, right? Again, what is the marketplace? Our competitors, who are they? They're just course creators, they're coaches, right? We didn't really want to be, I mean, to some element, to some degree, yeah, we do coach people, but that's not really what we wanted to be known for. We wanted to be known for being business owners, to actually having real businesses that work, that generate money, that provide amazing client results for our people, for our clients. And we wanted to take that same team, the same systems, the same platform, the same approach, and basically just install inside of our clients agencies, right? So no one actually, at least what I know of, people say they have like done for you part elements. Maybe they do, but honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anything where it's truly like every piece of having a real successful business. Starting off with how to pick a specific niche. It's not just like, hey, let's just come up with, lawyers. Let's just no. There's a lot that goes behind why that specific niche. How can we have that specific niche based on what your strengths are and give you the best leverage that we possibly can in the marketplace? All right. From there is offer creation, right? How can we craft an irresistible offer where people just feel stupid saying no, right? Like literally, like they just cannot refuse to say no. And the only way to do that is by positioning yourself, by positioning your digital marketing agency as the top shelf choice, as that superior, most irresistible thing that you can ever, do. So that's one of the things that I'll tell you. Most people skip in on the details on the foundation, and they just care about leads, they care about sales, but they forget, why would a lead even be attracted to you if you don't even know who you're trying to go after, if your offer sucks, right? So we really put a lot of emphasis on that, right? What we believe in is your offer is your business, right? The better an offer that you may have, the better the business that you will have. All right. We work very, very heavily on the foundations to make everything else easier for you, right? The next piece of this is lead generation, right? So we use two different forms of lead generation. Number one is paid ads, and number two is organic, right? Paid ads, again, most of you guys have come in from paid ads. You've seen a Facebook ad of ours, you clicked it, you got some emails, it's all automated, right? So, we were probably, I don't know, maybe even sleeping, like we were just having living life, and you came into our world essentially, right? And maybe here you are on this video, right? Watching this, potentially looking to partner with us. And all that happened automatically, right? But we were very intentional about it from the beginning, right? So it's all a system, right? Again, you want to be the CEO of your business. You don't want to just buy yourself a job, right? The worst thing that we can actually do here is buy yourself another job, right? You probably already have a job, right? You want to be that high-level executive, high-level CEO And what better way to do it than to partner with, an 8-figure company, an 8-figure team, right? We have over 40 employees that basically what they do is they service our clients. They come in and they build this whole business out completely for you, right? So from the logos to the branding documents to, again, like I said, the offer creation formula that we have. And then they also come in and set up all your lead generation systems for you, right? Facebook ads, LinkedIn. So we use two of these things very heavily, especially in the beginning. So getting people coming to you using Facebook ads and also using LinkedIn organic. And also that's based on systems, right? It's not like you're not just manually outreaching everyone. There's tools that we use. We're partnered with, some of the biggest and best tools that there are out there that you can actually even like search up, right? This is like custom made for our business. We've partnered with some of these companies that we bring only and only to our clients, right? So now you have multiple different variations of being able to attract leads coming in, right? So in case if one platform goes down, or if one, your Facebook ads or your LinkedIn kind of shuts off, you still have the second one, right? The worst thing that we can do is put all our eggs in one basket, and hope the basket doesn't break, but it will, right? So that's just the world that we live in. So to mitigate some risk, those are the two things that we do. And then the third piece is once the leads are coming in, once people, what I like to call them is buyers, right? We don't really optimize for leads. We want to optimize for buyers, people who are going to come in and give you their credit card information, right? To say, hey, I want to work with you I want to work with your digital marketing agency. And once we're able to attract them, the sales calls, they're not really like sales calls. They're just like taking orders, right? We want to be able to take orders rather than try to chase people down, do any of those commission breath tactics or that, that used car dealership mentality, none of that stuff, right? People actually, they're selling themselves in order to work with us. That's what we want to have for you. And that's literally what we do for our clients, right? Some of these people are coming in and they want to work really, really bad because they saw the marketing, they saw some of the ads. They're like, whoa, this is something that's very new and very different than anything I've ever seen before, right? So that's a very huge lever that we can pull, right? And then the last piece of this is outsourcing all the work, right? You don't, as a CEO, right? You're the CEO, you're at the top of this. You don't want to be doing the client delivery side. Now, you want to understand how it works, right? But you don't want to be actually creating websites, setting up pixels, setting up Facebook ads. You don't want to have to do anything like that, right? You're the high level executive. So over here, you're going to be able to partner with my team of 40 employees. They take care of all the work. This is the same team that I said that works with Porsche, Hello Abound, Makeup Razor, some of these really, really large e-com brands. And they're going to be able to do the same delivery that they've done for them for your clients. So now you have no stress, but you will still be in the loop of understanding, some of the executive reports. Every single Friday, we send some of those reports. So you'll get a very clear sense of what's happening on the front lines without you being actually involved. Think of yourself as a general, all right? Because we want to scale this company, right? We want to scale this not to, whatever you want to make. If you want to make only 10K a month, that's about 2-3 clients. You can definitely do that as well. But if you really want to blow this up, right? Have 30, 50K, 100K plus, right? We live in this, you guys really got to understand, we live in this world where the middle class is shrinking, right? Like it's very, very scary in some aspects. There's poor people and then there's just rich people. Like the middle class are just shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. So now's the time to, like, before things get very competitive, because they absolutely will. Things are going to get really, really competitive over the next few years, right? And you can search this all up, right? Like what some of these big organizations are saying of what the trends are saying, right? There's going to be so many millions and millions of jobs replaced by technology, by AI, right? And what better way to kind of get into the AI game than now, right? We use a lot of AI for not only for ourselves, but also for our clients, right? We infuse AI with their digital marketing agencies as well, right? So this is something that, whether or not it's a digital marketing agency, like literally, I just want, anyone who's in here, you're an entrepreneur at heart, right? You truly want to, establish and run a business that is going to be successful, rather than you just trading your time for money, right? You can only go so far, right? Especially maybe if you're older, like if you are at a stage where you're like, hey, how much longer can I actually put into this, right? Before, you know what I mean? So this is a really good opportunity to get in, right? Especially New Year's, right? January, February, these are some of the best times that we can have when it comes to launching an online business, right? Specifically a service-based online business. And one of the best business models is a digital marketing agency, hands down, right? I challenge anyone. We run multiple companies, right? So not only do we have a digital marketing agency, we have a software house, we have a farm, we do real estate. There's nothing like a digital marketing agency. Laptop, phone, Wi-Fi. I know it sounds cheesy or whatever, but that's the reality, right? And skill set. That's pretty important as well, right? So those are the four pieces again that we're going to be building up for you. And then the fifth and final piece, which I'm going to get into, is training you and positioning you into that CEO role, right? Rather than just slapping on a title. No, we want to really develop you into that person. So this is where we come in with our unlimited one-on-one support, right? So you literally have unlimited one-on-one support, not only with a dedicated account manager that we have for you, right? So this is a person who's going to be with you one-on-one for free, not for free, but for the whole time that you're with us. And also you get access to our executive team, myself included, right? I'm personally in your Slack channels. I'm personally in the channels that we create for you. All right. My whole executive team is there, our tech team, our sales team, marketing, everything is in there, right? So you have all the support that you need in order to be successful. That's why we have this crazy guarantee, right? People bring it up to us and say, hey, how can you guarantee such crazy results? Well, it's very, very simple. Every single client who has done the things that we asked them to has hit the numbers that they wanted to. All right. And they've hit way beyond that, by the way. Right. So we just kind of like keep a cap. We want to under promise and over deliver, just to be clear there. So that's pretty much what we're going to be having coming in this coming week. And you guys are the first people to get this sneak peek, essentially. All right. Awesome. So that's pretty much it on my end. I'll open up the floor for any last questions. And if there are, we'll go from there. All right, Reza asks, I love what's going on. Can't wait to learn more. How do I contact someone? Yeah, the best way to contact someone actually is going to be just drop agency down below. So that's going to be the keyword agency. Just put it in the chat here. Well, I'll have someone from the team, someone from my leadership team reach out to you and kind of set up a call and see, if we'd be the right partner for you. Again, guys, very, very important. A credit card does not get anyone in, right? We have a very, very high success rate, and we want to really make sure that we maintain that success rate, right? And the only way for us to do that is to be on the same page of knowing exactly that we can actually help you and that we can actually build this business out for you, right? If we feel like we can't, trust me, we'll be the first ones to tell you we cannot do it, right? So just know that, please, and just come into the call with a very clear and open mind. All right. And kind of see if this is, if we're your champion or not, right? So this is just, just being very upfront and honest about some of the things there. So yeah, go ahead and type agency down below if you are interested in this. All right, let's see any more questions. So guys, like I don't know why it's not letting me scroll up really. So you may want to if you ask me a question, and this is what happened last time as well. I couldn't see it for some reason because there's multiple people, and then it would just kind of disappear. So if there's anything specific, if you guys can just drop it in the chat again, just copy and paste it, that'd be nice. I think I missed a couple. All right, that is pretty much it for this for the State of the Union announcement here that we wanted to make. And yeah, just take a look over the next few days. We have some insane announcements coming in for the New Year's, so be prepared for that. All right, it was really nice chatting with you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, take care. Peace.